over 400 Nigerian women and children sitting together in a quiet, controlled setting, looking straight into a camera and asking for help. That is the reality in a disturbing video that has just surfaced, and it is already shaking people across country. In the footage, about 416 abducted victims from Borno State are seen alive, one after the other. They speak. Some sound calm, some look tired, and some appear like they are choosing their words very carefully. But there is one thing they all have in common. They want to be rescued. And here is what makes it even more serious. They are not just asking anyone for help. They are calling directly on President Tinubu and other authorities to come and save them. Now, imagine watching that. Imagine seeing real people, not actors, not a movie scene, real Nigerians, mothers and children speaking from captivity and hoping someone out there is listening. That alone tells you this is not just another news story. This is real life happening in real time. From what we know so far, these victims were taken during a recent attack in Noshe, a community in Borno State. Armed men stormed the area and took hundreds of people away. And now, this video is being used to show that they are still alive. But let's be honest for a moment. When a group like this releases a video, it is never random. There is always a reason behind it. Sometimes it is to prove they still have control. Sometimes it is to send a message. And sometimes it is to put pressure on the government and the public. And right now, it feels like all three are happening at the same time. Because when people see a video like this, it creates emotion, it creates fear, it creates urgency, and most importantly, it creates pressure. This situation also brings back memories that many Nigerians have not forgotten. Think about the Chibok girls. Back in 2014, hundreds of schoolgirls were taken from their school and the whole world reacted. People protested, campaigns started, and for a long time that story stayed in the headlines. Years later, some of those girls returned home, but not all. And since then, there have been other cases. Different communities, different victims, but the same pattern. People are taken, families are left behind, and sometimes videos appear. That is why this new video feels so heavy. Because it is not just about what is happening now. It reminds people of everything that has happened before. And it raises a question that many people are quietly asking. Why is this still happening? After all the efforts, after all the operations, after all the promises, how are we still seeing hundreds of people being taken at once? Now, to be fair, there have been moments where security forces have stepped in and rescued victims. There have been successes. There have been wins. But clearly, the problem has not gone away. Because if over 400 people can still be taken and shown in a video like this, then something is still not working the way it should. And beyond the numbers, beyond the headlines, there are real lives involved. Each person in that video has a story. Someone's mother, someone's child, someone who had a normal day until everything changed. And somewhere out there, families are waiting for news, waiting for hope, waiting to see if their loved ones will come back. That's the part that hits the hardest. Because while we watch the video and talk about it, there are people living it. Now, let's think about the message those victims are sending. They are asking to be rescued. That means they still believe something can be done. They still believe someone is listening. And that belief is powerful. Because once people lose that hope, everything changes. So right now, all eyes are on what happens next. Will there be a response? Will there be a rescue effort? Will this situation end differently from some of the past ones? These are the questions people are asking. And this is why stories like this matter. Not just because they are shocking, but because they remind us that there are still serious challenges that need real solutions. If you've been watching up to this point, take a second and think about it. What do you believe should be done differently to stop situations like this from happening again? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this is a conversation that needs more voices. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe. It helps more people see stories like this and it keeps you updated as things develop. Because when you look closely at situations like this, you start to notice a pattern that goes beyond just one incident. It is not just about one attack or one video. It's about a system that keeps getting tested again and again. Groups like Boko Haram understand something very important. Attention is power. The moment a video like this comes out, it spreads quickly. People talk about it. Media platforms pick it up. Emotions rise. And suddenly, the whole country is focused on one thing. That is not by accident. It is strategy. And while that is happening, the victims in the video are also being used to pass a message, not just with their words, but with their presence. Because seeing hundreds of people together like that sends a strong signal that this group still has reach, still has coordination, and still has the ability to carry out large-scale operations. Now, let's flip the perspective for a moment. Think about the families of those victims. Imagine sitting at home and suddenly seeing a video online and you recognize someone, a face you know, a voice you have heard before. That moment alone can change everything. You go from not knowing to knowing, from hoping to worrying even more. And that emotional weight is something many families in the North have had to carry over the years. Some have waited months, some years, and in some cases, they never got closure. That is why this situation feels very personal to a lot of people, even if they are not directly connected to the victims. Because it could be anyone. Now, here's another angle people are beginning to talk about: security presence. Borno State has been at the center of this issue for a long time. There have been operations, checkpoints, patrols, all aimed at reducing attacks like this. So when something on this scale happens again, it naturally raises concerns. Were there warning signs? Could this have been prevented? Are there areas that still need stronger protection? These are not easy questions, but they are necessary ones. Because every time something like this happens, it's an opportunity to learn and improve. Now, one thing history has shown is that rescue efforts are possible. There have been moments where hostages were freed through coordinated operations. There have also been cases where negotiations played a role. But each situation is different. And that's what makes this one uncertain. Right now, people are watching closely. Not just to hear statements, but to see action. Because at the end of the day, what matters most is getting those people back safely. That's the goal. Nothing else matters more than that. And as this story continues to unfold, one thing is clear: Nigerians are paying attention. From social media conversations to everyday discussions, people are asking questions, sharing opinions, and hoping for a positive outcome. But beyond the noise, beyond the headlines, there is a simple truth. Over 400 people are still out there, waiting for help, waiting for a chance to return home. And until that happens, this story is not over. So again, I want to hear from you. What do you think should change? What do you think needs to be done differently so situations like this don't keep repeating? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you haven't already, like this video and subscribe. It helps this channel grow and keeps you updated as things develop.